I'm very excited to talk to you today because what I'm about to share with you is something that I believe can change yours too. And today, I want to talk to you about something called how to survive stressful environments, home, work, school. Stressful environments don't always look dramatic. They don't always involve shouting, chaos, or visible conflict. Sometimes they are quiet. Sometimes they are routine. Sometimes they feel so normal that you stop questioning them. A tense home where silence feels heavier than words. A workplace where pressure never ends and rest feels like weakness. A school environment where expectations crush curiosity and comparison steals confidence. These environments don't break you all at once. They wear you down slowly, day after day, until exhaustion becomes your default state. And the most dangerous part is that many people believe surviving stress means enduring it silently. But survival doesn't mean suffering forever. Survival means learning how to protect your mind, your energy, and your identity even when you cannot immediately escape the environment you're in. The first truth you must understand is this: you are not weak for feeling stressed in a stressful environment. Many people blame themselves. They think, why can't I handle this like others? Or maybe I'm just too sensitive. But stress is not a personal failure. It is a natural response to prolonged pressure. If an environment constantly demands more than it gives, your nervous system will react. That reaction is not weakness, it is intelligence. Your body and mind are signaling that something needs to change, even if that change cannot happen overnight. To survive stressful environments, the most important skill you need is internal control. You may not be able to control people, rules, expectations, or circumstances, but you can learn to control how deeply they penetrate your inner world. Stress becomes destructive not when pressure exists, but when pressure lives inside you without release. Survival begins when you stop letting the environment fully enter your mind. One of the first ways to do this is by creating mental boundaries. Stressful environments often invade your thoughts even when you are physically away from them. You replay conversations, you anticipate conflicts, you worry about tomorrow, you relive mistakes. Your body leaves the environment, but your mind stays trapped there. Mental boundaries mean learning to mentally clock out. When the day ends, you intentionally shift your attention. This doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities. It means refusing to let them consume your entire identity. Even 5 minutes of mental detachment can reset your nervous system. At home, stress often comes from emotional tension, unresolved conflict, lack of privacy, or unrealistic expectations. Home is supposed to feel safe, but for many people, it feels like a place of constant emotional alertness. You may feel like you're walking on eggshells. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel responsible for everyone's emotions except your own. To survive a stressful home environment, you must learn emotional detachment without emotional coldness. This means not absorbing every mood, argument, or opinion as your responsibility. You can care without carrying. You can listen without internalizing. You can be present without sacrificing your peace. Another powerful survival strategy is reducing emotional reactivity. Stressful environments trigger strong emotions: anger, frustration, sadness, helplessness. These emotions are valid, but reacting impulsively often worsens the situation. Survival requires learning to pause before responding. A pause protects you. It gives you time to breathe, think, and choose your response instead of being controlled by emotion. Calm responses reduce conflict, preserve energy, and protect your mental health.
At work, stress often comes from pressure, deadlines, performance expectations, competition, lack of appreciation, or toxic dynamics. Many people believe work stress is unavoidable, and to a certain extent it is. But chronic stress is not a requirement for success. To survive a stressful work environment, you must stop equating self-worth with productivity. When your value becomes tied only to output, stress multiplies endlessly. Successful survivors separate who they are from what they do. A mistake at work is not a judgment of your worth. A bad day does not define your ability. This separation protects your confidence under pressure. One of the most powerful tools in stressful work environments is clarity. Stress increases when expectations are unclear. When you don't know what's expected, when priorities change constantly, when feedback is inconsistent, your mind stays in a state of anxiety. Seeking clarity is not weakness. Asking questions, confirming expectations, organizing tasks, and setting priorities reduces stress dramatically. A clear mind handles pressure better than a confused one. Another survival strategy is energy management, not time management. Stressful environments drain emotional energy faster than time. You may have enough hours in the day, but no energy to function. Energy management means knowing when to push and when to pause. It means taking short breaks, stepping away mentally, breathing deeply, stretching your body, and resetting your focus. Small moments of recovery prevent burnout. Survival is not about constant endurance, it's about strategic recovery. In school environments, stress often comes from academic pressure, comparison, fear of failure, social judgment, and unrealistic expectations. Many students feel like their entire future depends on a few exams, grades, or opinions. This creates intense psychological pressure. To survive this environment, you must understand a crucial truth. Your current performance is not your permanent identity. Grades measure performance, not intelligence. Mistakes indicate learning, not limitation. Failure is feedback, not a life sentence. Comparison is one of the biggest sources of stress in school environments. When you constantly measure yourself against others, your mind never rests. There will always be someone ahead, faster, smarter, more confident. Survival requires shifting focus from comparison to progress. The only meaningful comparison is who you are today versus who you were yesterday. Growth happens in private, not in competition. Across all environments, home, work, and school, one common stress amplifier is lack of control. When you feel powerless, stress intensifies. But control doesn't mean controlling everything. It means controlling what you can. Your effort, your attitude, your boundaries, your reactions, your self-care. When you reclaim control over these areas, even the most stressful environments lose some of their power.
Another essential survival skill is self-validation. Stressful environments often invalidate your feelings. You're told you're overreacting. You're told others have it worse. You're told to be grateful instead of honest. Over time, you begin to doubt your own emotions. Self-validation means acknowledging your feelings without judgment. This is hard. This hurts. This is stressful. Naming your experience reduces internal conflict. When you stop fighting your feelings, they soften. Survival also requires safe outlets. Stress needs release. Without release, it turns into anxiety, anger, depression, or physical illness. Safe outlets can be anything that allows expression without harm. Writing, talking to someone you trust, physical movements, creative work, quiet reflection. You don't need to solve everything. You need somewhere to let the pressure out. Another powerful survival technique is routine stability. Stressful environments are unpredictable. Creating small, stable routines gives your brain a sense of safety. A consistent morning habit, a nightly wind-down ritual, a daily walk, a fixed mealtime. These routines become anchors. They remind your nervous system that not everything is chaotic. Stability in small areas reduces stress in big ones. It's also important to understand the role of expectations. Many stressful environments are fueled by unrealistic expectations from others or from yourself. You may expect yourself to be perfect, strong, patient, productive all the time. These expectations create constant pressure. Survival requires adjusting expectations to match reality. You are human. You will get tired. You will make mistakes. You will need rest. Accepting this reduces self-inflicted stress. One of the most overlooked survival strategies is learning when not to engage. Not every argument needs a response. Not every comment needs defense. Not every provocation deserves your energy. Stressful environments thrive on reaction. When you stop reacting to everything, you starve the stress. Silence, distance, and selective engagement are powerful forms of self-protection. Another critical skill is long-term perspective. Stressful moments feel permanent when you're inside them, but most environments change. Roles shift, situations evolve, you grow stronger. Keeping a long-term view reduces the emotional weight of the present. Ask yourself, will this define my life? Often, the answer is no. Perspective creates breathing room. Survival does not mean ignoring the desire to leave. If an environment consistently damages your mental health, planning an exit is not failure, it is wisdom. But sometimes you cannot leave immediately. In those moments, survival means preparation, building skills, saving resources, strengthening yourself internally until change becomes possible. Endurance with intention is different from suffering without hope. Perhaps the most important survival lesson is this: stressful environments do not get to decide who you become. They can pressure you, challenge you, test you, but they do not own your identity. You are allowed to grow even in difficult places. You are allowed to protect your peace even when others don't understand. You are allowed to prioritize your mental health even when it's inconvenient for others. Survival is not about becoming numb. It's about becoming resilient without losing yourself. It's about learning how to stand steady in storms without letting the storm enter your soul. Stressful environments may shape your experiences, but they do not define your worth, your future, or your potential. And the moment you realize that survival is not about tolerating pain, but about protecting your inner world, is the moment stress begins to lose its grip on you.
If you love this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to get daily motivation video updates.